I think sometimes PowerPoint is a tool for spreading bad ideas. Why are PowerPoint and Google Slides so frustrating?
Our mission is to make work feel much more effortless.
The big idea that we really rooted everything in was this idea, get your ideas out there. And that's exactly what Gamma does.
A bunch of templates you had to pick from. You could just type something and say, I want a deck about this with 8 cards, and boom.
I created this variable word mark where every letter changed the shape like pretty dramatically. And then they could also like explode at the same time. So like, oh my gosh, this is like absolutely insane.
We're creating a new way for people to share their ideas. A lot of us learn tools like PowerPoint when we're growing up, and we want to give people modern alternative to shape their ideas so that they can share it with others. We want to give people easier building blocks so that even if they don't have design skills or technical skills, they can go in and really quickly shape their ideas in a way that they're proud of. We've been cash flow positive even actually before our Series A. We have more money in the bank than we've ever raised through fundraising. We'd be at 50 million users. Even a year ago, I would have said, you're crazy, there's no way. But we've been fortunate to have a product that others continue to share and enjoy using. And so hopefully with that in mind, maybe reaching 100 million won't be too hard.
We started the company in the middle of 2020. The whole world was shut down. Everybody was working from home suddenly, and all of us were feeling the pain of spending time in our previous job just sitting on Zoom meetings every day, watching people make Google Slides presentations. I would spend 8 hours straight watching people's slides. We had this original vision of making something that was halfway in between a document and a presentation, because a document is something easy to send around. You don't have to be there in person, but a presentation is visual and exciting. When you make a presentation in Gamma, all the slides can be different sizes. You don't need to spend all your time sort of making things fit or squeezing them to be the right size, because we wanted to feel more like a document where you just write without stressing about the formatting. We ended up launching our first beta version of that product in 2022, but we didn't have enough traction. It wasn't enough for the company to really take off. Chapter 2 was really AI. So around that time in late 2022, you had Stable Diffusion come out and then ChatGPT come out, and we started to realize that AI could really change everything. And we had done all this research about why is it hard to make a presentation? Why are PowerPoint and Google Slides so frustrating? And people talked about these challenges like, I have to spend so much time formatting to make things look good. I don't know what to say on every slide. And we realized that AI had all the ingredients to make a really great product, because with AI, we could directly solve that blank page problem. So because of that, we decided to focus everything on one big launch that would really incorporate AI, and the core feature would be using AI to generate the first draft of the presentation for you, so you could edit it from there.
We started adding thousands of users every day, and it was just truly, an inflection point.
Gamma has done super well for the last 3 or 4 years of just doing word of mouth, basically. Now we're getting really serious about we want to really grow to a massive company here and scale really fast. And that's why there's kind of a pretty big shift in what's happening at Gamma right now in my mind.
And the product has been growing a lot. We changed our vision from just presentations to now websites, social medias, documents, and this whole one place for all of your ideas to live in it. And it just felt like our old brand doesn't do it justice anymore. We outgrew that brand. We were like, okay, maybe we need to clean it up.
I am Mike Smith. I run Smith & Diction with my wife, Cara. Smith & Diction is a design studio. We're working for people that are excited about what they're making. We work on companies like Perplexity, Gamma, Exposure, and Anterior, just anything that feels really, really unique.
We basically started this company because Mike and I met working at big agencies. We were partners, so he was the designer and I was the copywriter. We're intentionally a small team, so everyone we work with works directly with us. Mike and I are the founders, and we also lead the project. So at a traditional big agency, the people who started the company, the people who run the company, they're not the ones actually doing the work. They're not the people doing the writing and doing the design. And so we are not only the people who started the company and who run the company, but we also are the people doing a majority of the work. So I handle a lot of the copywriting and strategy myself. Mike Mike leads all of the design along with his team.
The first version of Gamma's brand, we started creating before we even had a product. The name Gamma actually comes from gamma rays. If anybody is a fan of comic books, they know Bruce Banner, when he was struck by gamma rays, becomes the Incredible Hulk. Turning something from ordinary human to superhuman all came about through gamma rays. And so at the time, a lot of products were going for very, very dark mode, minimalist vibe on their websites. And we wanted something different. We didn't want something that felt so serious. Our mission is to make work feel much more effortless. We wanted a product that had much brighter light mode. This is where the gradients, the colors came in.
Grant from Gamma emailed us and was just like, I was very excited about the things you've been posting and we're thinking about doing a refresh over here. And so we had a very casual first conversation over Zoom where we met the team, and they were just like very funny and very sweet. And I love when people are just really genuine on those calls rather than being like, this is a business and we're here to do business stuff. And it was just like, it was a very casual conversation. And then after that, we were introduced to Melissa, who put together probably the most comprehensive research of why they needed a rebrand that I've ever seen.
So I started with a creative brief and we filled it out, and I started researching. So I started doing internal surveys, getting data and some research from customers, like what they say about our brand, how they feel towards our brand. And I built this whole Figma of visual direction and mood boards and what are the different things to explore. And then after that, they started working on the basic concepts.
So the key concepts when we were coming up with the Gamma brand was that we love this idea of like, get your idea out there no matter what. And out there could mean so many things. Like, get your idea out there was something that was so important because like Gamma isn't really about like finessing, coming up with this big 45-page finessed document. Gamma is about getting to your idea really fast and doing it in an exciting way and almost feels magical. We just wanted to set the tone of like not so serious, but also doing it with a dedication to craft and intention and in a fun way. And just trying not to lose that playfulness, I think, was an important part.
If I were to talk like broadly in the world right now, I see a ton of ads, especially in the AI space, that are all about efficiency. And I just think it's ridiculous. You could stop 1,000 people on the street and ask them what they want in life, and no one is going to say, I really wish I was more efficient. Like for Gamma, for example, the big idea that we really rooted everything in was this idea of get your ideas out there. We had so much fun working on the tone for this one because one of our tone words was imaginative.
I created this variable word mark where every letter changed the shape like pretty dramatically, and then they could also like explode at the same time. So like when we hit on that, I was like, oh, this feels like nothing I've ever seen before. And so Melissa was here in the studio when we came up with that, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is like absolutely insane.
I always say, like, when did we stop dreaming? When did we stop making time for our dreams and stopped feeling unstoppable the way we used to be as kids? And I think part of the brand is that it's making you feel unstoppable. You can tap into your crazy imagination and create something not boring, create something unique, let it out there, put it out there in the universe and just see what happens. It might be the best thing you've ever done. Work can be fun. It doesn't have to be boring.
That product design is both art and science, but really it's an art. I think art is like being able to have people feel something. There's no good or bad art. It's like, does it make people feel something? And when it comes to something intimate as Gamma, where you're sharing ideas, you're expressing yourself. Can you scientifically say you've expressed yourself or not? Like, no.
There's no such thing as good brands or bad brands. There's a matter of taste. Strong brands and weak brands, there's the ability to build association with your users.
I definitely like to imagine a world where everyone uses Gamma as their default way of sharing ideas. I think what that world would look like is, first of all, more good ideas would get shared. And the other thing is, I think it also means that better ideas can spread. I think sometimes PowerPoint is a tool for spreading bad ideas. I think we've all been in the experience of seeing a really pretty presentation that was made by some very expensive designers or consultants, but it's ultimately talking about a bad idea or bad news for people. But whoever spends the most time on their slides wins the argument. So if we can level the playing field a little bit, let people take their good ideas that they have trouble, making really pretty, and they can get to that same level, then the best idea can win.
I think my main challenge or ask for people is don't try to, answer all of your questions all at once. Find, something that sparks some level of enthusiasm in you and just take that first step forward, because so many people get stuck and being intimidated by getting their ideas out there. that they then just never actually see what's possible. And, when I think back about Gamma, a lot of that was just taking that first step, reaching out to James and John saying, hey, I had this crazy idea. Should we just start working on something together? And I wish more people would just give themselves that shot, take that very, very first step and see where that leads. And I do think if more people are willing to do that, we're going to be better off because there'll be more ideas out in the world, and many of those ideas will lead to, promising outcomes.